How long is it taking to get a J1 exceptional hardship waiver as of May 2023? What arguments are working now? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. You'll want to stay tuned. Today we're doing a case study about an applicant who was from Egypt, and we were able to get that waiver approved, and we're going to talk about how we did that. First of all, we're going to talk about the processing times. But before that, I want to make sure you know if you even could qualify for an exceptional hardship waiver. So the basic requirements are that you have to have a spouse who's a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident, or a child that's a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident. Now, if you meet those requirements, then you can apply. And you can apply even if you've received government funding, whether or not you are a Fulbright scholar, for instance, or you've received other type of U.S. government funding or funding from your home country. Now, that does add an extra layer, an extra hurdle that does make it more challenging to get an approval, but it is still possible. So now let's dive into this case. First of all, let's look at the processing times. So the first thing that we do is we file an application with the Department of State, the 3035, and then we also simultaneously file the I-612 with USCIS. Accompanying the I-612, we prepare a legal brief supporting all of the exceptional hardship arguments to be made, because you have to demonstrate exceptional hardship to your qualifying relative. Now, a lot of times people ask me, well, what about myself as the applicant? You know, I'm going to be suffering as well. USCIS does not take that into account, so we want to focus on the U.S. citizen. Now, there are some exceptions or nuances, if you will, if you have a U.S. citizen child, because of course hardship to yourself could be funneled down to your child. Let's dive into the processing times. We filed the case June of 2021. I-613 was issued by USCIS, so USCIS forwarded the case onto the Department of State in November 2021. So there, if I'm doing my math correctly, that took only about 5 months for USCIS to make its initial decision. April 19th, 2023, Department of State finally gives its favorable recommendation, and then the case was finally approved by USCIS April 25th, 2023. So Department of State here took 16 months to adjudicate the case. That is where we're seeing the delays continuously, is with the Department of State. Now, we are getting expedited requests approved where we were not getting them approved at all before, so we are noticing a change with that. With the Department of State, it is still hard to get those expedited requests approved. The next question is, well, how did we do it? How did we get this case approved? How did we demonstrate exceptional hardship? In this case, the exceptional hardship was based off of hardship to a U.S. citizen child. Here, the child had previously spent a significant amount of time in Egypt, during which time the child was afflicted by a recurrent rotavirus and recurrent tonsillitis. That was one of the main arguments that we made demonstrating exceptional hardship. I like to look at financial hardship if that's applicable. So here, we also argued financial hardship because the applicant's salary would not be enough to cover the family's necessities if they were to go back to Egypt. The way that you explain and document the financial hardship is extremely important. I had a consultation last week with an individual where they received a request for evidence. They were asking about financial hardship. And in that case, the financial hardship, even though it was clear that they had financial hardship, it wasn't communicated clearly with an explanation. So it's really important that you have a well-documented and clearly articulated explanation if you're going to make a financial hardship argument. Not only that, but we also argued the inherent hardship of country conditions. So wherever that is applicable, that is something that we also like to argue as well. Now, also for many of you, you're talented, you're smart, you're contributing to the US, you're doing some kind of novel research, or you're a physician. In this situation, we argued that here the J1 merited discretion because the J1's continued work in the US was of value to the US. So you can see that there was not just one argument, there was not just two arguments, but there was a myriad of arguments to demonstrate exceptional hardship. By making all of those arguments, we were able to demonstrate exceptional hardship. If you still have questions, I invite you to watch more of our J1 hardship waiver videos, our case studies. We also have videos just about the different nuances of J1 waivers. So click on the button above and watch the next video on J1 exceptional hardship to learn more. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. By watching this video, you're bettering yourself. By bettering yourself, you're bettering your family. And by bettering your family, you're bettering the world. Thank you. Bye for now.